It's a frustration so many business owners share. You know you're delivering a great service, you have happy customers coming in and out, but then you look online and your reputation is, well, it's quiet. It just doesn't seem to reflect the quality of the work you're actually doing.
So the big question is, why? If you're doing great work, why are your reviews so low? It's a situation that can feel pretty confusing and, honestly, a little bit unfair.
So let's break this down, shall we? The common myth, what we all tend to think, is that customers just don't want to leave feedback. But the real reason, and this is what we're going to unpack here, is that your own process is silently getting in their way.
And that brings us to our first really big shift in thinking. The problem isn't with your customers, it's not the people, it's with your system for actually capturing their feedback.
This idea right here is the absolute key to reframing the whole challenge. You don't need to change your customers. You need to fix the machine, that is, the process that turns their positive experiences into public, visible feedback.
Think about it this way. You could be delivering 5-star experiences every single day. But if there's no reliable, repeatable system in place to ask for and collect reviews, all those positive moments just kind of evaporate. They become this invisible, completely untapped asset for your business.
So where exactly does this process break down? Well, let's start with two of the biggest culprits out there: inconsistency and just plain bad timing.
This is the silent killer of review growth. It's not one big failure, it's 100 tiny ones. You know how it is. Sometimes you remember to ask, sometimes you don't. One employee is totally on top of it, another one isn't. You only really think about it when you're feeling desperate. This kind of random approach leaves your reputation's growth completely up to chance.
And here's the other side of that coin: timing. A customer might be absolutely thrilled right after their service, totally ready to shout your praises from the rooftops. But if you wait a week, or shoot, even just a few days, that emotional high starts to fade. The details get fuzzy, the urgency is gone, and the chance that they'll actually follow through drops like a rock.
Okay, so beyond consistency and timing, there are two more powerful hurdles we need to talk about: the human awkwardness that your team feels and the tech friction that your customers have to deal with.
Let's talk about that human element for a second. We call this the confidence gap. It's that moment of hesitation when a team member feels weird or pushy asking for a review. They're not sure what to say, so they just say nothing at all. And poof, the opportunity is lost. Even a great strategy is going to fail if your team doesn't feel confident putting it into action.
And hey, even when your team does ask, what happens next? This is friction in action. The customer has to go search for you, then find the right page, then click through a bunch of links. Maybe they hit a login wall they weren't expecting. With every single one of these steps, you can practically see people dropping off. And that's the crucial point. We think customers are refusing, when really, we're just making it way too difficult for them.
This leads to another really common mistake. Businesses often treat getting reviews like it's a short-term campaign instead of what it should be: a continuous, everyday part of doing business.
And the difference between these two paths is just stark. A campaign-driven approach gives you these huge spikes of activity, but they're always followed by long periods of total silence. It's an all-or-nothing game. A system-driven approach, on the other hand, creates a steady, consistent climb, and that is what builds stable, long-term trust.
So why is that steady flow so important? Well, because those reactive bursts create long, quiet periods, and that really damages your review recency, which is a huge trust signal for new customers, and it makes your whole online presence feel inconsistent and just less reliable.
All right, let's wrap this all up by looking at the true cost of these little failures, the silent, invisible opportunities that are just slipping through your fingers.
Let me just ask you this directly. How many reviews did you lose last month? Not because a customer said no, but because of a silent breakdown somewhere in your process.
The hardest thing about this whole problem is that it's completely invisible. You don't get a notification on your phone that says, hey, a happy customer was just about to leave you a review, but they got frustrated and gave up. All you see is the silence. And every single one of those missed reviews is a lost opportunity for something much bigger. It's lost trust with potential new customers, it's lost visibility in search engines, it's lost social proof, and ultimately, it's lost conversions that could have actually grown your business. So the big idea to take away from all this is right here on the screen. Your issue is not a lack of happy customers. It's not a demand problem at all. It is an execution problem. It's all about fixing the how. And that leaves us with one final, really important question to ask yourself. Take an honest look at your current workflow, from the moment a job is finished to the days that follow it. Where is your process silently losing reviews? Is it the delay, the inconsistency, the awkwardness, the friction? Figure that out, and you're already halfway to a solution.